Hello and welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, number 200, the episode. Today we're going to be talking about consistency.
So the big question is this: how are parents like us, who don't have a manual, who are doing the best we can, who feel as though we aren't enough, how are we going to raise healthy, happy children who we are proud of and still keep our sanity in that process? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Ryan Roy, and welcome to I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, a podcast for parents who are being real with themselves.
Hello and welcome back to this episode number 200 of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting. And listen, I'm talking about consistency today. For those of you who may think, man, this guy has 200 podcasts, and most people who have 200 podcasts, I would say most, have been doing it for a number of years. Why? Because they do a podcast a week. So 200 equates to almost 4 years worth of work for the average podcaster. And I'm not saying this to brag today, but I am kind of bragging a little bit because I do this 5 days a week for the entire year thus far, and it is a special milestone to have hit 200. So today's episode is about consistency and showing up. And I'll tell you, the results in your life, listen to this, whether we're talking parenting, like I don't know jack about parenting, so let's come off the parenting for a second. But anything that you have in your life, whether you want it or not, listen to me, whether you want it or not, is due to your consistent behavior in that area. What do you mean? So let's just take health for a reason. If someone's running marathons, it's because they've been consistently going out there and putting in the work to be able to train their body to do so. But on the opposite end of that health spectrum, if somebody is overweight and not doing the things that, and not living a healthy lifestyle and wondering, how did I get here? It's because they consistently did not go out and exercise. They consistently ate sugar. They consistently ate pizzas. They consistently ate carbs in amounts that their body could not break down in time enough to lose the weight, and the opposite, actually gain weight. And they did it so consistently, they got to a point where they're unhappy with themselves. The reason I am talking about consistency is because if you want things in life, now let's get back to the parenting. If you want, in my case, and this isn't the case for everybody, my ultimate goal is to have the respect of my adult children. What did I say there? The adult children. So if my goal is to have the respect of my adult children through their entire childhood and adolescence, until the time they become an adult, I must show up in a way that I think they will feel respected and therefore respect me back for the way that I had poured into them and treated them in a good way. So, I just wanted to come on here. Part of the reason I do these podcasts is not only to empower you, but to document the journey for my kids, that one day they'll see a title and say, man, I want to listen to Dad's podcast. What was he talking about when I was 2? What was he talking about when I was 10? What was he talking about when I was 16? What challenges did he face? What decisions did he make? And this will be a record that goes on forever and ever that they can listen to and hopefully empower my grandchildren one day. But I must show up. I can't have those lessons if I don't show up. So how are you showing up as a parent? Do you show up every day with the intention that when they're adults, you want their respect? And can you look yourself in the mirror honestly and say, hey, I need to show up more consistently in that area of my life, in this area of my life? Hey, listen, there's no judgment here. I just know when people say to me, how many podcasts have you done this year? And it's early October. I say, I just recorded 200. No, I don't mean like how many episodes have you done since you started your podcast? How many did you do this year? No, I did 200. Wow. How do you do 200 podcasts? I show up every day. Now, I'll be transparent and honest, and I've told you guys this. I tend to do these in 3 or 4 or 5 at a time. But consistently every single day, I'm conscious of the things I'm doing with my children, how that could be a podcast episode, why I would want to share it, what story I would want to tell while I am on the podcast and sharing that information. So every day I'm on as a parent, and every day I create probably, with what goes on, 10 podcast episodes, but I have to choose 1 or 2 that I think would be valuable. So my question to you is, how can you show up more consistently in your children's lives so that you could have whatever end result that is of your child? And when I say end result, when you put them out into the world, when you have done what you're supposed to do and they have choice and freedom to go out when they turn 18, do you feel confident in what product you put out there to go out into the world? And if right now the answer is no, what can we do to look ourselves in the mirror? My suggestion is go out and get my book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, 10 Power Lessons to Becoming a Powerful Dad. And that applies to everybody. It's just titled because I'm a father that way, but all the lessons pertain to any parent or grandparent. And the other thing I would suggest is, hey, listen to some of the lessons that I get on here. Listen, I don't know everything. Listen, I've told you, the title's in there. I don't know jack about parenting. But as my journey unfolds, I learn more and more and more. And I know that I know more than someone who has a firstborn child right now. Like, I got 8 years experience. I have 10 years collectively being a parent between an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old. Like, straight up, I have more knowledge than that person. I don't know jack about a teenager right now, but I will share with you when I'm going through that journey. I don't know jack about, having a 10-year-old. I don't know jack about a kid having a heartbreak other than my own heartbreak when I had a kid, because my kids aren't at that stage. But I can tell you from zero, from pre-birth, from conception to 8 years old, right now, I have a ton of knowledge. And I love sharing it with you. So if you're listening to this podcast for the first time and you haven't listened to a past episode, I look forward to you joining me in future episodes and maybe reliving some of the past ones. I would suggest, I remember where it all started. Episode 2, listen to it. That was the first podcast I actually recorded, and it's raw and it's real, and it's why I do this. So thanks for listening today. I am going to celebrate 200. I suggest you celebrate your victories, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Do you want to be the dad you wish you had? If so, go get my free book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, at BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com. Inside, you'll find my most effective 40 tips to quickly and easily transform yourself into the ideal dad. Go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com now and get it while it's free.